Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. This is the 34th part of What If Deku Was Sanji's Reincarnation, My Heroes Reborn. The author of this great fanfic is enterally. Links to them and original story in the description. Chapter 34, Talking Things Out. Hibiki got up, he looked at the two and sighed. He kept his visor on his face. Knowing one thing. You don't want to introduce yourself right now, do you? Asked Hibiki. Aiko, nope. Fine, first off I order you to not talk about the song that was just played to anyone but Recovery Girl and Yuzu. This was way too embarrassing and maybe borderline illegal. Said Hibiki. Aiko, fine. Hibiki got up and pulled up his visor. Hey, are you okay? Asked Izuku. Yeah. Said Hibiki, lifting up his shirt and saw there was an undershirt, some fireproof material underneath because well, I knew was going to be set on fire today. Aiko happily reminded me several times before today, and many times today. Both Izuku and Bakugo sweat dropped at this. So let's talk about the test. Said Hibiki, the first thing I want to talk about was my idea for the test dealing with distractions. What do you mean? Asked Izuku. Never gonna give you up and the pretty cure were meant to distract you. Said Hibiki, something so ridiculous that you would be distracted to fight, while the last song was designed to distract me. Why would you do something so stupid? Said Bakugo. Long story short, I once got into a team up with Bar Brawl. If you don't know who that is, he's a guy who can make people drunk by touching them. Well, once of the guys were fighting got a little too drunk and I won't say what he did was hilarious, and when I was distracted one of his friends ended up getting a sucker punch in while I was distracted and I got knocked out. Said Hibiki. Izuku just stared at him, not surprised by it one bit. Oh, and it happened last year, so make of it what you will. Said Hibiki. But what about Aiko? Said Izuku. She got distracted too. Said Hibiki, blushing, not her best moment. Had Aiko been willing to talk at the moment she would have said, please don't tell anyone. Anyways, let's talk about the other thing. The reason why you were paired up. Said Hibiki, Aizawa wanted you two to learn how to get along or at least not be at each other's throats. Bakugo didn't say anything while Izuku sighed. Which I completely agreed with. Said Hibiki, who knows what would have happened in the future if you were still at each other's throats when you become heroes. I know for a fact that infighting could lead to something terrible happening. Izuku looked at Hibiki and knew he was experienced. But to be honest, if I didn't step in, I don't think you wouldn't have talked it out. Especially with Aizawa's original plan. Said Hibiki. Why, what was the plan? Asked Bakugo. For you two to face All Might. Said Hibiki. Both teens froze. Yeah, and considering that Izuku kept trying to ditch you through the exam, it would have been worse with All Might. Said Hibiki. It wouldn't have been that bad. Said Izuku. Izuku, be honest. Said Hibiki. I don't know. Said Izuku. Bakugo gritted his teeth. That's why I was allowed to create the 30-second rule. Said Hibiki, because either way you would have ditched him. Neither teenager said anything. Now there's something else we need to talk about. Said Hibiki, that entire conversation was heard. Did you really tell Izuku to kill himself? He did. Said Izuku. I don't want to hear it from you, Long John Silver. Said Hibiki. I don't remember doing it, but I do believe I did it. Muttered Bakugo. He looked at Izuku and knew Izuku was telling the truth. Okay, that is messed up. Said Hibiki, it was middle school, right? Izuku nodded. I don't think Recovery Girl can do anything since it happened then. Said Hibiki, did any of your teachers know? No, none of them were around when he said it. Said Izuku. Damn it. Said Hibiki. Both of them looked at Hibiki wondering why he said that. You'll find out soon. Said Hibiki, like I said, the Recovery Girl heard everything that went down, and well. So she heard you fight with that song? asked Izuku. Don't change the subject, muttered Hibiki. Izuku's sweat dropped when he said that. But yes, she heard you confess that, said Hibiki, but since it happened in junior high I don't think there's much she can do. Bakugo and Izuku looked at each other not saying anything. Izuku, one more thing, did you forget anything during the fight? Asked Hibiki. Just something weird, said Izuku. It was true he did forget one of his weirder moves, which was a series of kicks that rearranged a person's face to make them more handsome. Yeah, he could do that. Hibiki nodded. Anywho, you should head back to the main campus, probably a good idea to discuss things along the way, said Hibiki. Hibiki gave Izuku his transceiver back and the two left the training grounds and the two teens knew they had to talk. You heard that conversation after the sports festival, said Izuku. Bakugo gritted his teeth. Izuku took a breath. I know I have to tell you, said Izuku, but I'm not ready. How bad was it? Asked Bakugo. Really bad, said Izuku. When I tell you you'll probably be even more disgusted with yourself. What do you mean? Asked Bakugo. You don't want to know, said Izuku. Izuku knew that Bakugo learning he was on the same level as genetically alerted sociopaths wouldn't be a good thing. Any day before today he wouldn't have mind telling him, but now it wasn't just not wanting to talk about it. Was that your past life really that awful? Muttered Bakugo looking at Izuku. Only some of it, said Izuku. When I became a pirate it changed for the better. Why do you talk like that? Muttered Bakugo. You mean referring to my past life like it was me? Apparently people hit by the quirk go crazy if we don't. Hibiki hadn't really told us anything, but I'd rather not find out. Excellent, Izuku. That's messed up, said Bakugo. I know, said Izuku. Bakugo gritted his teeth. What's wrong now? Asked Izuku. It's still wrong, he muttered. What is? Asked Izuku. You, yelled Bakugo. Izuku froze when he said that. What do you mean? Asked Izuku. I don't know, yelled Bakugo. I know you're still new to working out your emotions, said Izuku. Bakugo gritted his teeth while glaring at him. What you miss talking to me when I'm not acting like my past life? Asked Izuku. Bakugo said nothing but scoffed. I see, said Izuku, knowing that was his way of saying yes. It's like someone hijacked your body, muttered Katsuki. It's just wrong. I guess if it was you who got hit and not me I'd be freak out too, said Izuku. We're getting along now. Why? Muttered Bakugo. Because I'm still pissed off at you, said Izuku. That makes sense, muttered Bakugo. I'm talking to you now, said Izuku, and I can tell you're trying, but until you can really prove it to me, we can't be friends. What makes you think I want to be friends? Asked Bakugo. Why else would you be getting help from Toru? Said Izuku. Bakugo would have said something but then remembered, she probably talked a lot about friendship. Maybe one day we can be friends again, but right now my tolerance with you is moss head on a med-A, said Izuku. Bakugo stared at Izuku confused. He was on my crewmates in my past life, we fought a lot, said Izuku. We didn't hate each other, we just fought all the time. And you called him Moss Head, said Bakugo, and you still call him that. I know, said Izuku, face palming. Your hair is green, said Bakugo. I know, said Izuku, getting more embarrassed. Was, said Bakugo. I don't look anything like my past life, said Izuku. You better not, said Bakugo. You want to make of it TNT for brains, said Izuku. Bakugo looked at Izuku, his stance was somewhat playful. I would, but that idiot tired me out, said Bakugo. If you want be a hero you can get that tired from one fight, said Izuku. Not everyone has weird super pirate powers, said Bakugo lightly glaring at him. Yeah, said Izuku. The two of them looked at each other, it was clear that they weren't quite friends. But they were on better terms with each other, it would be a while until they would be something close to friends. They just weren't sure how long that would be. In a certain bar, Shigaraki was staring at a picture of Izuku. Kurogiri was mixing a drink, at the other end of the bars were several empty glasses. That was when the bar's doors opened. It was a man in a suit wearing sunglasses, he was Jiren, an information broker and weapons dealer who worked with the League of Villains. Shigaraki. Your League of Villains have been the talk of the town these last several days, said Jiren. Word on the street is you're about to start something big. Who did you bring? Asked Shigaraki, getting a bad feeling about it. Wait. I don't know if it's a good idea, said Kurogiri. Wait another day. Wait, they have to see for themselves, said Shigaraki. That was when he brought in two people. One was a man with a burnt patchwork-like face and the other was a teen girl in messy buns wearing a sailor fuku. So you're the hand guys, you're a lot more gross in person, said the man with the patchwork face. Before Shigaraki could answer, Priestess entered the bar. Oh, and this is Priestess, said Jiren. You haven't heard of her, but she is one of the most infamous villains of all time. The public is kept in the dark about her. After all, how would they react to a woman who tends to commit petty crimes but whose quirk can permanently take down hundreds of heroes without a single lost life? The two looked at Priestess, who looked at the three who had just entered the bar. The two prospects were unsure how to respond. Until this happened. Hey! Yelled Priestess, guess who just had a shitty day? Said Jiren. I did. Yelled Priestess, going back to her seat. Kurogiri sighed and gave her the drink he was making. Tamura Shigaraki knew that these two were probably fans of Stain, and he figured out the best way to handle them. Let them deal with drunk Priestess and see if they still want to join. It should be very amusing. Next time, with the exams over, it's a good idea to get ready for what summer vacation has planned. What could possibly go wrong? Well, there's stuff involving the League of Villains, so yeah, what will happen? Find out next time. That will be it for this part. I hope everyone enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like and comment if you want part 35. If you want to hear more from me, subscribe. I hope to see you all in the next one.